Hi, and welcome to the show. Well, today we have three guests, two human and one Great Dane. First, let me introduce Ronnie Vostinak
Hi.
from Homeward Bound Pets, and Jaci Killion,
Yes.
also from Homeward Bound. And down there, we saw briefly Ghenghis.
Ghenghis, yes.
Great Dane. Maybe we'll meet him. Can he stand up and say hello?
Ghenghis, come on. Come on, buddy.
There he is.
There he is.
Oh, he's a handsome one.
Here, bud.
And how old is he?
Ghenghis is 5 and he'll be 6 in March.
Well, look at him.
You want to shake?
And he,
Good
oh.
job. Nice to meet everybody.
All right. Well, I didn't want to just brush over and not introduce our guest, but we should.
Good boy.
So, Homeward Bound Pets. Why are we here? What do you do, and why is this animal here?
We are Oregon's first no-kill shelter. We're turning 44 years old this year, and we work all over Yamhill County. We are here to help you find a new fur baby for your home, dogs and cats. We also have a spay-neuter clinic, low-cost spay-neuter clinic, and a thrift shop. The proceeds go to support our shelter.
Well, that was a lot. You have a shelter, you have a spay-neuter clinic, and a thrift shop.
Yes.
Well, we should talk more about those. But Jackie, how about you? What's your job?
I'm an animal care provider at the shelter. So I help take care of the animals, make sure they're up to date on all their vet treatments, transport them to the spay-neuter clinic. We clean up after all the animals and make sure they're all taken care of.
And so, approximately how many animals?
Right now, we have probably between 25 and 30 at the shelter.
Okay, and you probably need some help with that?
Yes, we do. We're in constant need of volunteers at the shelter and at our clinic and at our thrift shop.
Yes.
I can only speak to what our shelter's needs are, but
Guy, I'm glad you're not a licker. Oh, what a handsome face.
We are in constant need of help. So volunteers at the shelter, anywhere from cat socializers to dog walkers to helping the staff clean the catteries and the kennels.
Now, socializer, I stuck on that word. Is that somebody who pets the cats?
yes.
We had a lady, I've been over to the shelter where she was sitting and reading and had kitties all over her.
And just in heaven.
Yes,
And the
in
cats
heaven.
were loving it too.
They
Love
were.
it. I mean, even just sitting there, you can watch Netflix on your phone and just sit there with the cats. Just let them lay all over you.
And purr.
They love it.
Oh, gosh, who doesn't love a purring cat? Well,
Ghenghis.
you know, just being here, petting this animal, you know, I've heard it and I'm actually feeling it. Your blood pressure goes down. You just,
It really does.
pets are good
Yes.
for you.
They are.
They're good for your health. And that's why I think one of our connections is why so many pets.
We have 3 Great Danes right now at the shelter looking for families.
Three guys like this.
We have
Yes.
never had Great Danes. We have 3 of them.
Do you know where they come from?
They came in through dog control.
Okay.
And
And
so-
just like all kinds of reasons that they come from dog control.
Right. I adopted a little dog from Homeward Bound that came in through dog control who had been just abandoned on the streets of McMinnville. Some people, it's various reasons that we really can't talk about,
Yeah.
but various reasons why they come in through dog control. So we have from tiny little dogs that come in to now the big breeds.
Yeah. So you have different sections in dog control. They stay with you. You have a contract.
Yes.
With the county, with the sheriff, with who?
We have them with YCSO and with McMinnville Police Department. And so we have contracted kennels for them. They have 24/7 access to the shelter and bring the dogs in and we shelter them, kennel them. You have to go through dog control to get your dog back. You don't, you get the paper filled out and.
So don't come down to the shelter and say, I would
Right.
like my dog.
And you can't find a dog and drop it off at the shelter. You must go through dog control.
Okay.
Yes.
Good to know. Now, speaking of dropping animals off, you do accept animals, not just from dog control, but also
Surrenders.
surrenders, you call it.
Dogs and cats, yes.
Where a relative had a pet and the relative passed away, and here's his pet, and I'm allergic to the pet or whatever, and
Yeah.
people can't keep, and so they bring them to you.
They should call us first
Call
because
first.
sometimes we have a waiting list. And so the staff will talk to you about what kind of animal you have, what the needs are. And if we can't take them in at the time, we have a waiting list. But we also will give you resources for other shelters that you could go to if you need to immediately get rid of an animal and we can't take it in immediately.
Yeah.
We will help you with resources.
Now, I think you mentioned right up front that you were Oregon's first no-kill shelter. And so you do have limitations on how many animals you can accept. Otherwise, you kind of get up against this space problem.
Well, and that's why we have partners with Petco and PetSmart, because for our cats, it allows us to have a wider audience for our animals to get adopted. And then we also have adoption events. So again, it opens up the audience so that we don't want to, we're not a sanctuary. They don't live there. They need to live in people's homes. They need to have families. So we want to have a broad audience so that we can get them adopted out to families.
Petco and PetSmart. So Petco right here in town has cats.
Cats,
From the shelter.
Yes.
And it says right there, this is a
Homeward Bound.
a rescue animal from.
Yeah, it has our name on the
Yeah.
the cages. Yeah.
Now, some people might come in thinking, I'm going to rescue an animal. It must be free because I'm doing my duty here, right? Not so.
No.
And why is that?
There's a variety of charges, whether it's our adoption fees, whether it's with kitties or with the dogs. You have to remember that we are spaying and neutering, vaccinating, microchipping. If an animal comes in sick, we have to treat them. And we're feeding them. We have staff taking care of them. So a free cat, if you think you're getting a free kitten, and it isn't. So your kitten might be $125 to $200, but we've put a lot more money into it than that.
So you've put in maybe $300-400 into the cat.
And if you went and researched, your local vet,
Yeah.
your vet fee, what it would cost to spay and neuter them through your vet, all the vaccines, it would end up being probably $400 to $500.
Plus rescue is
Wow.
just a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so come prepared to cover a fraction of the cost of what it's taken to get this animal ready to be adopted. So
And
these,
you can go on our website at hppets.org, and we have this shows the different price ranges. So from kittens to maybe a senior kitty would be a different price range. From puppies to a senior dog, adult dogs. It's a variety of adoption fees.
yeah. Well, I think you brought some pictures with you today
We did.
of some of the animals,
The animals
that
we
are
have available.
for adoption. Okay.
That's one of Genghis's sisters.
Oh, okay. That's a Great Dane. And are these cats related?
I believe they came in together, yes.
Yeah.
They're sisters.
So maybe it'd be nice if they went home together. Oh, beautiful.
There's Ghenghis.
And that's a big run you've got there.
Yes.
That's nice. Oh, my
That's
God.
Hank. And Hank's adoption fee is actually paid for.
Meaning you can just go pick up Hank for free right now.
If you
Yes,
qualify.
If you qualify, he needs a special type of home.
Okay.
That's-
The close up.
He's a good boy.
Come get me.
Yes, I'm here. Okay. And so people come in, just kind of drop in. You're open out there at the shelter. It's off of Highway 18.
On Loop Road, yes.
Loop Road. And, oh, look at that face.
That's Noelle.
That is amazing.
That's Pixie. Her ears always stick straight up.
And here's another big-eared animal.
And that's the other sister.
Okay, 3 Great Danes. All right, so there's a lot to choose from. You
There
can
is.
fall in love
There
several
is a lot.
times. So people come in, and how do you check out the person? Do you give any kind of interview like, are you nice to animal? Right? What's the questionnaire look like?
So we have an adoption application. You come in, it's two-sided. You're going to tell us a little bit about yourself, your name. We do have a computer system that called Shelter Buddy. Shelter Buddy, we can enter people in, and sometimes that tells us whether or not they can be adoptable too, and that happens.
Well, people have a record maybe of not being adoptable too, if for serious
Sometimes,
reasons.
not very often at
okay.
all.
But
But you
wanna-
do watch for that. People should know that you'd guard against that.
Well, and we want to make sure, if you live in an apartment, does your contract say you can have an animal? So we will ask about that and maybe want to see it, because we want to make sure that you're not just falling in love with little fluffy kitty and you really aren't supposed to have it.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to see them abandoned out on the streets again. We don't want to get them hurt. We want to make sure that it goes to a home where they can have an animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you rent, we would need to talk to your landlord.
Oh, okay. How many people come in a day on an average day? There is no average day, but just
Sometimes it can be as few as 2 and sometimes 20 or 30. Just depends on the day.
Yeah.
well, I would think there might actually be some competition. Two people are going to fall in love with the same animal at
That
the
has
same
happened.
time.
That has happened. I remember hearing the two families went outside and talked and finally decided
I don't remember that.
They
which
figured
family,
out.
I heard about that, which family the dog would have been best with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they all need homes, they need to be loved. We also have our spay-neuter clinic because we're trying to make sure that there aren't animals running around, people can't afford to go and have them spayed and neutered, so we don't have unwanted pets in our county.
And your kitties can have kittens as early as 3 to 4 months old.
Let's talk about that. We'd be up to our ears in cats, I think, if it wasn't for what you do.
Yes.
Then if you do the math on what you just talked about.
How many cats can
on how
make
many
cats?
how many animals? Now you have the spay and neuter clinic. Let's talk about that. That's
Yes.
new, right?
It's
How
it just
did that
turned a year.
happen?
We did a transport system for many years where we had amazing volunteers and people would bring their cats only, and the volunteers would transport them out of county to various veterinarians for spay-neutering. And so the dream was always to have a spay-neuter clinic here, and that dream became a reality a year ago in September of 2017.
How did that happen?
A small grant was given initially, and then we had a donor give us a building to use, which was originally owned by our founder, Julie Juleson, and her husband. It was their building. And we started fundraising to be able to turn it into a medical clinic. And it's beautiful inside, you know, from the surgical suite to where animals are prepped and cared for, you know, after surgery. So it was a lot of work to get those donations in place to get the building ready to open. And so it is. It's on Evans Street, 723 Northeast Evans, and we do low-cost spay-neutering for dogs, cats, rabbits, and rats. And
Rats. If I had to guess, that would have taken a long time. I would have said ducks before I say rats.
and we have vaccinations. We can microchip your pets there. And we work with other rescues as well. And so, yeah, it's a great place.
So at the spay and neuter clinic, a lot of your animals go there that were brought to you perhaps by animal control that aren't spay or neutered, and before you get them ready for adoption.
So all
That's
of our
part of your
shelter
process?
animals go to our clinic, yes.
And also people from the community, can they bring their animals? So
Yes.
they maybe have a dog that had puppies,
Okay.
right? So they would bring the whole litter there, or
Well, if they were,
what happens?
well, if the puppies were old enough to be spayed
Yeah,
and neutered,
right,
right.
right.
We're open Tuesday through Thursday, so you need to call or email and make an appointment.
Uh-huh.
And again, they have to be of age. And yes, spay and neuter,
Okay.
vaccinations, microchips.
Now, you said microchips a number of times. I think maybe people that don't have pets or haven't heard of it before, there's something to learn there. There certainly was for me. You explained it to me.
Okay,
how does
so
that whole thing work?
A microchip is implanted into basically the neck area.
Okay, I'm curious. How does that work? Is it a little gun
little
that shoots
shot.
it in? Or?
Like
Like
a
a-
shot.
Like
There's
a
a
shot.
needle, and
Oh.
it just goes right underneath the skin.
The microchip goes through the needle, so it's really small.
It's about a grain of rice.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to feel like.
Uh-huh.
And it comes attached to a number. And when you scan with a microchip scanner, it's going to come up with a number. And the number is then registered to your pet and then registered to you. So if you adopt your pet, we will register that number to you as this is your pet. And then if you move, change your phone number, change your email address, all that stuff should be updated as well, because we can't find you if you've changed your phone number and, you know, let's say Ghenghis goes missing and, you know,
Yeah.
wanders off on the 4th of July because the fireworks scared him. He's found by dog control, brought to us. We'll scan him, but we can't necessarily find the owners unless the microchip information is up to date.
But it doesn't need if you move, it doesn't take a new grain of rice.
No.
You can
No.
reprogram that guy.
It doesn't necessarily need to be reprogrammed.
The number stays the same.
The number stays the same.
The data that it's connected to in the computer changes.
Exactly.
So you can change that yourself. You'll be given a login information we use Home Again. There's several different chip companies out there. And then you can do it yourself, or you can call them and they can do it for you.
All right. And it's called microchip.
Yes.
Yes.
And say I want to get my dog or cat microchipped.
Yep.
Would I bring it to you? Or would I take it to my vet? Do I
You
bring
would take it to the spay-neuter clinic.
Okay.
Yep.
And they would charge you,
$20.
Oh,
that's all.
$20.
because you did bring up this thing about runs away on the 4th of July, and including 2 nights at
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve,
Eve.
a lot went missing.
Oh, I have a friend that just said their dog thinks the end of the world is coming. I
They're
live out in the country. We get a
terrified.
few shotgun blasts, but not much. How was it here in town? Do you live in town, Jackie?
Yes, I live in town over by the airport, and it was nice and quiet.
And
I live in Newburgh, and it was
Okay.
loud.
it was loud.
But I have dogs and cats. But what I try to do is you can put them in an interior room without windows and give them their toys, maybe play soft music.
White noise is
anim-
very crucial.
And keep them comfortable through the night.
My friend said that she had sedated her dog to the max, the legal limit. And still the dog thought the end of the world's coming. And she said, can we come out? How's it out at your place? Because I live out in the country.
Okay.
And I said, there's my... And I said, we might be having a New Year's Eve party next year. You want to come over and spend the night? Bring the family and bring the dog.
Sure.
So that it doesn't lose its mind.
Right.
So somehow people should know that when they're doing their celebrating on the 4th of July, maybe they should just leave the fireworks at the
A lot of
park,
animals get
go
loose.
see them there, and don't do that at home.
Don't have them outside, in the
Keep
backyard.
your pets inside.
Keep them inside.
Yeah.
Not necessarily not do the fireworks.
But
it's
keep
fun.
them
Keep
in
your
and
pets
safe.
indoors.
Keep them in and safe.
Yeah, but I asked you what time of year do you get lots of
Animals.
Dog control.
runaway dog control, and you said 5th of July, right?
Either-
The dogs just go crazy.
Sometimes the week before, because a lot of people
Oh,
like to
that's right.
celebrate. So the week
right.
leading up to right around 4th of July and a couple days after is when they usually come in.
So the moral of that story is get your dog or cat microchip, but
Get
the
on
cats don't
microchip.
really.
And then they can be returned to their people.
Yeah.
We microchip our cats. We have a lot of people that will find kitties, and if they're microchipped, we can find the owner quickly.
Yeah. Okay, now you have quite an operation. You have 4 buildings out there at the
At the shelter.
shelter. You got the spay-neuter clinic, and then you have another building. Tell
We
us
have
about
the
that.
Homeward Bound Pets thrift shop.
Yeah.
It's on Lafayette Avenue. We share in the parking lot with J&W Carstar. And the proceeds to our thrift shop support our shelter. So we also have an online store there. We sell a lot of things from eBay to Etsy. We have friends that have different various auction houses if we have things that come in that need to go to some place like that. And we have a lot of treasures at our thrift shop. And so
And you have some expertise there. The
Yes.
manager's name.
Stacy Morrell,
Stacy.
her whole life has been antiques and running thrift shops, and she's amazing. She's been on board a year in October, and I don't think there's anything she can't tell you about, from antique books to furniture to you name it, clothing. She is highly
Skilled
and
experienced.
experienced in that. And so when she came on board, I wanted to really work with our online store, so she has expanded that dramatically. And it's raised our proceeds substantially this year. We're still waiting for our final numbers, but she's doing a really good job to help support the shelter.
And that's a major chunk of your budget,
It is a big chunk of our budget.
is what comes from that.
Last year, 2017, we made about $68,000 from the thrift shop. This year, I haven't got for 18, I haven't got the final numbers, but I would say we're right up in the high 80s. So I'm waiting for final numbers to come in from the bookkeeper. I don't have all that yet, but she's really increasing our profits. And again, which helps the shelter, because shelter is always in the red. And so.
Well, if you're only charging a fraction of what it costs to get the animal ready, that's got to be made up somehow.
Exactly. And so the thrift shop's been a blessing for us.
Now you have a veterinarian.
Yes.
which is a new, tell me about that.
Dr. Jennifer Choate is our spay neuter clinic manager and surgeon, and she is our shelter vet. And that has really been a deal changer for the shelter. We used to have to haul our animals to all different types of clinics when they were not feeling good or were sick. And so Jennifer does rounds at the shelter with the staff, and she also is at the spay neuter clinic, so she knows the animals. It has really made a great environment, and our pets are much healthier for having a shelter vet.
She's wonderful to work with.
And you were talking about overcrowding is bad for the animals. You have to really make sure that you don't get full. Why is that?
Because if you get enough animals, dogs or cats, in a specific area, you can see increase of diseases spread. Because it will, just like you put a whole bunch of people in one room, one person with the flu can get everybody sick.
Yeah.
Now you have 2 catteries, you call
Yes.
them,
Yes.
in separate buildings.
Yes.
And so and you don't put the animals in cages,
No, we have
cats.
free roam.
free roam, so they're all together.
Yes.
And
Not to say that we don't have some cages if a litter of kittens comes
Okay.
in, because we don't just toss them out in the house with the
yeah,
adults.
yeah.
So we do have some kennels, but we are primarily free roaming,
which is probably better than being cooped up.
healthier.
Yeah.
Very much.
But a room full of 20 cats, that's probably a pretty interesting experience.
It can be, yes.
I mean,
20 different personalities.
yeah, and all cats are a little bit inscrutable. I mean, there's kind of like, what's
Hey,
going
it's
on
their
with that
world.
cat? Yeah, they've got a different
We're just
universe
living
they're
in it.
And then trying to figure out which one you might get along with. Can you walk, is it when you go in, can you go into the room with the cats?
We prefer people check in with the office first, let us know that you're here, sign
yeah.
into our public sign-in.
Right?
Then we can, if you haven't been there before, we'll show you where each of our houses are.
Yeah.
And then you can walk right in.
And you can hang out with 20 cats.
You can hang out with 20 cats. There's not that many in there right now, but we can have up to 20 cats in
Okay.
each house, yes.
So then you just people must stay there quite a while to figure out what cats.
Sometimes 10, 15 minutes.
Really?
We've had people
Just-
up there a couple hours.
Uh-huh. I'd want to come back every few days
Right?
and figure it out, but then
We
the
do
cat
have
might be
people do
gone.
that.
We have people that come and sit in the catteries and read and hang out with the kitties, and we also have volunteers that come and walk the dogs and help clean, and it takes a lot of different helping hands.
So you have a volunteer list, you have a volunteer coordinator, is that you?
No.
Oh, good.
We
You have
are
someone that does that.
We are actually talking to someone right now. We're searching for a volunteer coordinator.
Yeah.
And so that we are looking for that and we're also looking for a volunteer for the foster program, someone who will help oversee our foster program, because we need foster families as well. So if during kitten time, when we have kittens, we may need homes to take care of them until they're old enough to be spayed and neutered.
I see.
And so we are building that program right now.
So they go temporarily to a home until they heal up or they get older or for various
Big enough to
reasons.
be spayed and neutered. And
They can get spayed and neutered at 2 pounds. So that's around 8 weeks old.
So a family would do that. So you have how many families do that approximately right now?
Right now, we probably have half a dozen
Okay.
foster families right
And
now.
they like doing that. They like to come and meet different animals and raise them for a while and then bring them back.
We have a set of kittens come in, we'll give a call.
Because kittens are fun.
They are, and we do
Kittens are
have a couple people that are kind of a forever foster for a couple of older kitties. We have what we call fospice.
Who thought of that? That's great.
Yes.
Okay.
so
The next guest is a cat.
there are a lot of opportunities to volunteer and help, from the shelter to the thrift shop to the clinic.
Yeah. Very good. Well, I'm glad to hear that expertise at the thrift store, because sometimes some treasures do come in that people might not recognize. Tell us about some of the stuff that's.
We had, when
in.
Stacy had just been hired, the first week she was there, she called me and she said, "We have a Salvador Dali." And I believed her. And so I drove it over to the Lawrence Gallery, and it was authenticated. It was a Salvador Dali. And so we have had items that I thought we'd get $2 for, and she's like, oh no, those are from the 1800s and they need to go online. And she really is incredibly gifted, and she knows her business. And again, we have treasures in the thrift shop. Not everything goes online, but we are creating our own eBay store so folks can search for Homeward Bound fairly soon and find items that are online, and they're at the store, so you could just come in and pick up.
So bringing things, just bring them right to the store.
We're open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5. You can drop off your items.
What kind of guidelines do you like, things you like and things you don't like?
Okay, we don't take big furniture. We don't have the space. So
Right.
small little end tables and things like that. We take kitchen items. We do take clothing, toys, animal items that are, in good shape. We take seasonal items. So the thing is, we don't take beds and couches and desks and things like that.
Now, some of your other needs, how about some board members?
We are looking for board members, and so if you think this might be a organization that you can love on a little bit, you can go on our website at hbpets.org. All of our contact information is there, so you can find my email and email me. I will get you in touch with the board, and you can get more information, come in and meet everybody. And yep.
And get on board in planning programs to help keep our community
Absolutely.
safer for animals and for humans.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows that cats and dogs, you don't want them roaming around.
You don't. And there's nothing worse than seeing somebody hurt on the side of the road. So we want to take care of them and keep them safe and healthy. And so if you think you might want to help or by volunteering or from the board, there is a number of things that people can sign up to do.
Now, in terms of number of adoptions per year, just give us a kind of a feel for.
We are
animals
probably
come
about
through.
550 adoptions this year. I was just talking to
Wow.
Jackie today, and so we're getting our final numbers in. But that doesn't include when we work with another shelter and send animals out. That doesn't include that number.
It does not include that. So you, Jackie, are processing maybe 2 a day on the average. So,
Adoptions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. That's quite a turnover.
In the past few months, we have estimated just about 50 to 60 adoptions per month.
Wow, this is really happening.
A little Homeward Bound.
And so many people are getting new pets in the community, and this is mostly in the county. People are coming from the county.
So PetSmart and Tigard has some of
Right.
our animals. So people out in those areas in the Portland metro area have adopted our cats out of PetSmart.
Oh. And you have some people in the community that are supporting you, some businesses. Tell us about that.
Petco, Wilco, PetSmart and Tigard. We have a lot of partners
Nature's.
within the community. Nature's Pet Market sells us our dog and cat food at cost.
Yeah.
And so we're able to feed really good food to our animals that otherwise we wouldn't be able to afford it. We have, Innova has set us up with cameras at the shelter now. And so that is another partner. They've been really good to us. Yeah.
So you can kind of peek in on them, the animals. You have screens up in the office.
It's
that
outdoor
help you?
security.
Security.
Oh, outdoor security. Oh, okay.
So we have a lot of partners, and whether they're helping with events and in-kind donations or sending volunteers our way, it takes a village.
You know,
It really does.
I have an account at First Federal, and so I get a ballot
Oh,
on what nonprofits I want to vote for, and who is number one year
That would be
after
Homeward
year
Bound.
after year.
It is
It is,
remarkable.
isn't
It is remarkable.
And I thought about that, and most of these other things are, about people, and I thought, well, this is really the only one about animals. So I have kind of this thing of, well, are animals more important than people? Well, some people might say yes, but I put that in perspective with
Yeah.
all these other ones are helping people, and this is the only one that's
It is, and
that's
the
helping
animals don't have
so
a
that's
voice.
where everybody kind of heads there when they want to do some animal voting, and they vote for people too.
They
so,
do.
Yeah.
Well, and we also have an angel fund which helps folks in Yamhill County who are below the poverty line on public assistance, have an animal that's very sick and they need immediate attention with the vet. And it's all done through donation for us to keep it going. And it keeps families and pets together. So, just because somebody doesn't have a lot of money doesn't mean they shouldn't have a fur fur baby.
Yeah.
And if they get sick and it's something that none of us plan for, our Angel Fund is here to help with those needs.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah.
And bringing Ghenghis today, Jaci.
You're very
and
welcome.
Ronnie, it's just been
Absolutely.
delightful.
He's
Ghenghis,
very well behaved.
say goodbye. Say,
Bye-bye.
come adopt me.
And